Hello, welcome to week 5. Can you believe we are entering our 5th week of our 6-week program? And this week is all about by far my most favorite topic. So if I get even more excited than normal, you're going to have to bear with me because I absolutely love selling. And I love sales and I love the entire process of sales. And I'm sitting here looking at my bookshelf, which is absolutely full of sales books. And I never get fed up of reading them, or I never get fed up of exploring them, because for me, sales is what stands between you and the life of your dreams. Mastering selling and mastering selling in an authentic way that works for you is basically what your business is all about. It's what your life is all about. I know that might sound a wee bit cheesy, but think about it. If you're going to create a business that's going to provide you with the life of your dreams, your kids with the life of your dreams, your family with the life of your dreams, you're going to have to learn how to sell. Even if you just want to have a business that provides an income on the side, you're going to have to learn how to sell. Whatever you do, you're going to have to learn how to sell. So this training, video 1, is about redefining selling. So what is the purpose of today's training? So the purpose of today's training is to stop seeing selling as something negative and embrace it as something amazing, because sales really are amazing. And I think way back in week 1, which was a month ago, it seems so far away now, we discussed the 2 different types of business. And we discussed old business and new business. And basically, the reason that most people don't like selling is because they think it's old business. And we're not running an old business. We're not forcing anyone to work with us. We're not trying to persuade people that aren't the right customers to work with us. We're not trying to sell to everyone. We're a new business. We've identified what we do really well, the transformations that our product or service gets for people, and all we're going to do now is just finish the process. And the reason I love sales is because I also love to buy. Anyone who knows me will tell you I am a natural spender. I love spending money. I love buying things. So I know from first-hand experience that people enjoy buying. And the only way that people can buy is if people sell successfully. So I'm sitting here and I've literally just been to Sainsbury's and I bought myself a new water bottle and I bought myself a new notebook. And actually the reason I bought it is because they made it really easy for me to buy. They presented it really nicely for me. It's timed with the right time of year. And I got it at a really good price because essentially I bought a child's water bottle and a child's notebook for going back to school. Well, that's beside the point. The point is sales work because people want to buy. And all you have to do is present products and services that people want to buy. So do your research, do all of the work we learned in weeks 1 to 4, and make sure that you're constantly building relationships and getting in front of your ideal client. And then sales will be way easier than you ever thought possible. So what will we cover today? We're going to cover today a business without sales, what it actually is. We're going to look at why people hate selling. We're going to look at the 10 myths of selling and how we can bust those apart and make sure that you're not falling for them. And actually then cover that people want to buy. So what is my sales approach? My sales approach is fairly interesting. And basically, as someone who has sold every day for 4 years when I worked in property sales. So I had a sales appointment every single day and I had to generate those appointments myself. I know what it's like to sell. I know what it's like to be turned down. I know what it's like to go in there with the wrong approach. I know what it's like to go in there with the right approach. I know what it's like to smash my targets. And the best sales approach you can ever take is to help more people than you could ever possibly work with. So this goes back to your sales funnel. The best sales approach is to always, always, always be building relationships with more people than you can ever possibly work with. Because what that basically does is that takes the pressure off. Massively, that takes the pressure off. If you need X amount of money this month, if you need to make X amount of sales, I would recommend that you're building relationships with at least 3 to 4 times the number of customers that you need. Definitely. I would much rather say, sorry, I'm fully booked and increase my prices then I would rather actually panic in a sales conversation and alienate someone, or worse still, feel a bit crap myself. So the best sales approach you can possibly have is to do the work in week 3. Don't shy away from it. Create your sales funnel, and every single freaking day, without exception, work on getting in front of your ideal client, building relationships with them and compelling them to buy, and testing and measuring everything that you do and following the 10 non-negotiable rules of marketing. It is that simple. Now, just because it's simple doesn't mean it's easy, but essentially it is that simple. So what is a business without sales? Because you hear a lot, and especially in certain circles where they talk about manifesting customers. And I really do enjoy the law of attraction, but I'm kind of a cross between the law of attraction and the no law of attraction. I'm kind of slap bang in the middle. I sincerely believe that you can manifest, that you can focus on the right things, but you have to know how to sell. You really, really do, because there's no such thing as manifesting ideal customers unless you're out there doing the work of building relationships with them, getting in front of them and presenting them with irresistible products and services. Because essentially a business without sales is a ridiculously expensive hobby. It's absolute horse milk. It's unfreaking necessary. And I know I'm going to curse a lot in this because I genuinely feel that it's essential, because you deserve to be making sales. Okay, you've signed up for this course, you've done the work, you've worked out who your ideal client is, your product and service, what your transformations are. You've worked out your approach, how you're going to deliver it, and you've worked out your sales funnel. So you deserve to make sales. By not making sales is actually demoralizing. And I know you, because your business involves all of your passion, it involves what you love to do, it involves you making a change that's going to better your life and your family's life. It's demoralizing if you don't focus on the sales. It's demoralizing if you don't master sales. You have to master sales. And actually, sales for us is only the last step. It's literally just helping people pay for what you offer by having those sales conversations, be that to do with your service or to do with your product. And actually, it's unfair on the customer that you are able to help. So when your business is creating lovely perfume workshops, when your business is designing amazing jewelry, when your business is network marketing, your business is yoga, Reiki, decluttering, all of these amazing businesses, your businesses are absolutely outstanding. You know that you really add something to the customer's life. Well, it's really unfair on the customer if you don't help them. If you don't get better at sales and they go and they use someone not as good as you. So from this point on and forevermore, your focus should be on generating sales. Unless you are working with customers, you are generating sales. And by generating sales, I mean the sales and marketing activities that we've discussed so far in terms of perfecting our sales funnel. If you've got any questions about your sales funnel or your packages or what you should be doing, just post it in the group and we'll answer those, because you do obviously have another week whereby we can discuss everything. But what happens when someone says, oh, but it's about the cost and people don't want to spend as much anymore? Well, that is absolute horse milk. Sorry, that's one of my fiance's terms that I've picked up. Everyone wants to buy. Every industry is making it really easy for people to spend money. So us as entrepreneurs, we're putting barriers up. We're making it harder for people to buy when every other industry in the world is making it easier for people to buy and easier to sell. So let's look at Starbucks and take an example of the Starbucks app. Yes, we all know I'm addicted to Starbucks. However, they introduced an app to make it easier for people to order and to encourage loyalty. So basically you download the app, you top it up, what used to be a Starbucks card, and when I'm walking down the street, if I'm near a Starbucks, I'll go in, order my drink and get in, and the drink will be ready for me at the end of the bar. The benefits to Starbucks is, why would I go anywhere else when I've got this app? Once they've downloaded this app, they can message me all of the time. And once you become a part of someone's phone, I think you've kind of bought a place in their life. But the benefit for me is I skip the queue. I feel really important. when I jump to the end and I pick up my Starbucks. I feel like I'm better than everyone else that queued, which is ridiculous, but it's true. And I benefit from rewards. So gold membership rewards would mean that I don't pay for extra shots, I don't pay for soya milk, which they don't charge for anymore, thank God. After every X amount of drinks, I think it's 15 drinks, I get a free drink. So I am actually benefiting for, but I never see the money leaving my account. The money just flies out of my account and into Starbucks banks, and they know, and we both actually benefit from it. I borrowed £1 off a friend the other day to get the bus, and she said, "Why don't you download the bus app?" Now, it's because I don't have enough storage on my phone that I don't have the Lothian bus app, because the past month or so I've been getting the bus, whereas normally I don't. But basically, you used to have the correct change to get a bus. Now, they still don't give you the change, but what they will give you is an app where I can top it up, buy X amount of tickets. I think it's a minimum of a tenner you have to spend. The money comes directly from my bank account. So they're making it easier for me to buy, and I buy a minimum amount. And then I just activate it as I get on the bus, show the bus driver my ticket, and away I go. So you mean to tell me that it's difficult nowadays and people don't want to pay for things? No, it's really, really easy. We see the PayPal Pay Now button absolutely everywhere. And actually, it's really, really easy. That's how a lot of you paid for this course. You click Pay Now and the money comes straight out of your bank account and into the merchant's bank account as well. And then it's buy now with one click. So Amazon have got buy now with one click, which, by the way, is the funniest thing ever, because my fiance uses my Amazon account because I've got the Amazon Prime, and he's attached his bank card to it finally. But I would log on to my email to see, thank you for buying this, and this. So I can see what he's buying, and he keeps entering the wrong address. He keeps entering our old address for delivery. So all of these things prove, and they prove really, really well, that people want to buy, and they actually need you to remove the barriers. They need you to get better at selling. Could you imagine if Starbucks said, actually, no, more people are going to have to queue? You wouldn't be rewarded for your loyalty. Could you imagine if Amazon didn't patent the buy now with one click and you had to go through all of these steps? There would be no way that my fiance would try and get one up on me with all of the things that he's buying. So just remember that people want to buy, and you have to be good at selling in order for you to be the right match for them and to authentically sell to them. So let's look at, why do people hate selling, and why do you hate selling? Why do you kind of feel it's a wee bit icky, it's not me, it's a wee bit bleh? And it's really, really quite simple. First of all, it's because it reminds you of old sales techniques, and you don't want to appear icky or forceful. The real fact of the matter is, we've all been on the receiving end of a really shit sales experience. We've all thought, oh my God, that was a disaster. I cannot believe I felt so bad as a potential customer, and that person put me through that. I know they were doing really well, but I would absolutely hate to be that person. And I'll tell you about a really funny experience that I had. So I was speaking at an event a while back, it must have been January. And a lady came to the event, and she also came to an event that I was running. And she asked me to go for coffee because she thought I spoke really well and she'd really like to get to know me and my business a wee bit more. So I was kind of flattered, and I've actually worked in sales for quite some time, and I'd never actually had to apply for a job. I always got approached and offered a new job. So I was there thinking, oh, she might be offering me a job. Went to meet her for coffee, a lovely, lovely woman, definitely doing her best. But I wanted to shoot myself. She didn't listen to me. She didn't ask about me. She didn't care about me. I went in, and straight off the bat, she started to ask me what my dreams were. Now, this was the very early stages of my pregnancy, so I hadn't told anyone. But obviously my concern is creating a really nice life for my family and actually having the best that I could possibly have. But I didn't get a chance to tell her that, because she was like, and do you have that now? Why don't you have it? And basically tried to recruit me for her network marketing business in a really, really awful, inauthentic way. And I felt so sorry for her, because it was really like she was following a script, and it was really aggressive, and it wasn't nice at all, and both of us felt really uncomfortable. But I had to say no to her at least 10 times. I had to say, no, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. And the reason being, the reason her approach was so bad was because she was operating from the old way of selling, which I knew. So I knew it wasn't her fault. She just needed to be re-educated. And she thought that everyone was a potential prospect, which we know is not true. You have to sell to the people who want what you offer the most and who can afford to buy it. None of this approach 100 people, and if 2 say yes, it's great. If you can take that amount of rejection, go ahead, but I certainly can't. So part of the reason why people don't like selling is because it does remind them of the old sales techniques, and you don't want to appear icky or forceful. But as we go on and as we continue, they become a distant memory. Because if you look at people that are growing up now, they're used to freemium models, they're used to things being given away for free genuinely, they're used to free apps, free software, they're used to businesses creating a product specifically for them. So as time goes on, the old way of selling will become a distant memory. For us, it's probably a wee bit more in our minds, but we need to forget about it and embrace all of the ways of selling the new type of business. And actually realizing that the new way of selling is really providing a specific solution to a very specific problem. The second reason why people hate sales is because you've not quite seen the value in what you offer. That's true. You've done the work, you've looked at what kind of results that you generate for clients, you've looked at the transformations that you can create, but you don't quite believe them. So there's a confidence issue here. There's a confidence issue. You don't believe you're as good as the results that you say you can generate, or you're not quite sure, or sometimes little kind of mind monkeys creep in and you think you're not as good as you actually are. Now, it's my job to tell you that you're absolutely amazing and that it's normal to doubt your confidence and it's normal to actually not feel as good as you are. If it's the case that you don't quite see the value in what you offer yet, what I would recommend that you do is that you work with 1 or 2 people for free. If you provide a service, to get some testimonials and ask them for genuine testimonials and just say, I want to offer you this in exchange for a really, really fair testimonial. How does that sound? And use that to build up your confidence. But you don't want to do that too much, because essentially the biggest piece of confidence will come with people paying for what you offer. Another way that you could see the value is you could just ask someone for genuine feedback. You could ask a friend or a family member, someone who is honest. So we don't want someone that will tell you what you want to hear because they don't want to hurt your feelings. Ask someone who is really honest. I've got some friends that are brutally honest and I love them for it. So you're going to sit down, you're going to say to them, listen, I want some advice. I've been doing this. This is the feedback that I'm getting. Can you tell me what you think? Can you give me some really, really honest feedback? Because we want to grow your confidence. And then what I also want you to do is I want you to approach 5 people that absolutely love you. So 5 people that genuinely care about you, that really, really like you, and actually ask them, what do I do really well in my business? Why am I fantastic at this business? And get your confidence boosted that way, because customers will never see the value in what you offer until you see the value in what you offer. You know, it's like going on a date with someone who doesn't think they're good looking, and you have to keep telling them how pretty they are and how attractive they are. It's freaking draining by the end of it, and no customer wants to do that, ever. Another reason why people hate sales is because you don't have enough inquiries in your sales funnel. I hear time and time again, oh, I've got a sales conversation coming up, or I have got a strategy session coming up. And I'm like, okay, how many of you got coming up? 1. And all of the focus goes into that one conversation. And what happens with all of that focus is, so does all of the pressure. So does that I need to pay the mortgage. So does I need to have the car repayments. So does the kids need this. So does, we're going out on holiday soon and I need to pay for it. All of this pressure goes into this one sales conversation. But imagine that you had 4 sales conversations lined up and all you needed was 1 to become a customer. All of that pressure dissolves and all of that pressure comes away, and you can do what you do best. You can, have a really cool sales conversation, sense check it, change what didn't work, embrace what did work, and just get better and better and better. So you have to do the work from week 3, and I'm going to keep drilling this home. You have to constantly, every single fucking day, you have to be out there building relationships with your ideal clients. And there's no excuse. If you've got time to go on Facebook, if you've got time to read the Daily Mail, If you've got time to send a shit email or a WhatsApp message that makes no sense whatsoever, then you have got time to be online and to post really, really good content, record a really cool Facebook video, send out that email. You have got enough time. And the last reason why people don't like selling is because you're focusing on you and not your client. I'm really sorry, but this is the most common mistake that I come across, and that people go into the sales conversation with their agenda. The salesperson goes in thinking, okay, I need this, and if I can get them signed up by this, and this time, everything will be amazing. And it's not about that. You have to focus on your client. How can you help them? What transformations are they looking for? Why am I the best person to work with them? And once you do that, you absolutely transform it. And I'll tell you that I would do that when I used to go into sales conversations every day. And some days you have a bad day and you go in and you're a bit of a toe rag and you go in and you think about yourself, and that's okay, provided you've got other sales conversations lined up. We're only human. But for the most part, I would always go in and say, I can help these people, I can help these people, I can help these people, as I'd walk up to the door of their house, ring on the doorbell with a smile on my face, and just so wholly and exclusively focus on how I could help them. And when you do that, it totally transforms your mindset, it totally transforms how you feel, and actually it just makes you a better person. So focus on your client and not you. Now, next we're going to move on to the 10 myths of selling. And these are probably things that you've come across, and we're going to move through them because I want to re-educate you, because all of this is about redefining selling. So number one, we've just touched on it. Selling is about you. That is a myth. Take it all away from you. Selling is not about you. Definitely not. Once you get into a sales conversation, everything is about the client. It's about how you can help them. Once you open a shop, once you start a business, once you do everything, yes, you have your wants and needs, but essentially it's about matching your product or service with the right customer. So it's not about you, it's about your customer. Selling is sleazy and pushy. Sales is kind of like a car salesman. People think of a really cheesy car salesman who's sleazy and pushy and selling you something that's a shell that's really bad under the hood. Well, having recently bought a car, and we've traded in our car that we purchased 3 years ago. So within the past 3 years, twice now we've bought a new car. Selling is not sleazy and pushy anymore. Car salesmen are not sleazy and pushy anymore. We got a bouquet of flowers of our car salesman twice. And the second time, Blair didn't even give me the flowers. He gave them to one of the women that he cares for, because he's a support worker. He gave her my flowers, which I didn't mind. And actually, when I asked the guy for advice, he did turn around and say, I won't comment on that because I think you have to do what's right for you. How amazing is that? So old selling from years ago, an old business, is sleazy and pushy, but new business, which we're completely on board with, is definitely not sleazy or pushy. And number three, you're taking from the client. People think, and especially female entrepreneurs, that if you're asking somebody to pay £1,000 for your services, or if you're asking somebody to sign up for a 6-week course or pay for that workshop or buy your bespoke jewellery or products, some people feel that you're taking from the client because you're taking their money. And again, this comes down to the confidence issue. They forget about all of the things that they are providing for the client and all the things that they're giving to the client and all of those transformations and all of those values. Sorry, I did warn you I get excited when it comes to selling. Number four, just do the good work and you can do without selling. Again, this goes back to the manifestation. All you have to do is be really, really good at what you do, and people will naturally gravitate towards you and buy from you. Absolute bullshit. You have to be able to sell. You have to know when's the right time, the different types of customers and how you can sell to them. And we'll look at that in the next training video. You should give more than you receive. Now, I'm all about exceeding expectations, but only if it's a fair exchange for the money that you offer. And when you're creating your packages, yes, you can add extra value, but only if you feel you're earning the correct amount of money for it. Because what will happen if you give too much is you'll become exhausted, you'll lose confidence in yourself, which we definitely do not want. And you'll just become a wee bit fed up. And we do not want that. So we want you to give equal to what you receive, but actually for you to decide in advance. So if you're going to add on bonuses, you decide in advance. Price is the primary reason for people's decision. No, it is not. Definitely not. People buy what they value, and everyone values different things. It's like I said, I just bought a new water bottle and a new notebook. Did I need either of those things? No, absolutely not. All I can think about right now is when I have the baby and I'm going to be drinking more water, because fingers crossed I'll be breastfeeding, so I wanted a water bottle. I have about 5 water bottles in my cupboard. But I wanted something that was pretty, and I wanted something that was different, and I actually wanted to treat myself, because it's not like I can go out and buy a bottle of Prosecco. People buy based on their value. Look at people's mobile phones, look at people's cars, look at people's trousers. People will spend money where they associate value. I went to visit a friend there this afternoon, and I was like, where are all your cookbooks gone? I was like, I thought you had loads of cookbooks. And she did, but she moved them all about. And I think, she has probably got 1/10 of the amount of books that I have, because her value, she doesn't place value in books, whereas I place value in books. I would go without a meal to buy a new book if I thought that book was going to educate me. So it's nothing to do with price, it's to do with the value, and your job is to effectively convey the value of what you offer. Number 7, buyers make decisions based on logic, i.e. features and price. Well, we know this is bull, because we've been through this in quite a lot of our training. Buyers make decisions based on emotion, and they justify it with logic. So you have to appeal to the emotion of the customer. You have to get down and deep and find out what they really want, what their deepest fears are. And then you can justify that with the features that you have. Does that make sense? Prospects know what they want. It's not entirely true. Sometimes people could come to you looking for a particular solution, but not realize that you can add so much more. I spoke about when I started working with a raw food coach last year, and I went thinking that I was going to lose a bit of weight and potentially feel a wee bit healthier. And actually, I didn't really know what I wanted, because after 6 weeks of working together, I felt absolutely incredible, jumping off the ceiling. I'd saved a fortune and I felt amazing, but I didn't know I wanted those things before I started working with her. I just knew a little bit of what I wanted, and then I got these actually added benefits. Buyers want credibility and experience first. This is a really important one in the expert industry, because lots of people think, oh, well, I'm not an expert. I don't do that as well as X person. I'm not as amazing as they are. But actually, people just want to buy from people just like them. So I'll use the example again of, becoming a parent for the first time, and there's so many people I could ask for advice, but I keep going back to my twin sister. Not because she's got 10 kids, she's got 1 kid, but because she so closely aligns with the way I want to raise my children. You couldn't find anyone more like you than your identical twin. So naturally I gravitate towards her when I need advice. So it's not that she's got massive amounts of credibility or massive amounts of experience. She's done this only once. But for me, that's what I want. And that's what works best for me as a customer. And last but not least, you should do most of the talking. Hell no. In sales conversations, the majority of the talking is done by the customer. And we'll come to that in the next training. But that is a massive benefit to you. Massive, because it takes the pressure off you. It means that you don't have to know absolutely everything or fill all of the gaps, because what are you trying to do here? You're trying to get to the bottom of exactly what they want, so that you can present your product or service as the best solution. So what is sales? Yeah. Sales is essentially helping the client make the decision that is right for them at this moment in time. And you do this by listening to them, helping them understand why this is the right decision for them, and being honest if it's not the right decision for them. And people will respect that, and especially if they're not right for you. So when you're chatting to a potential client, they have just 3 things on their mind, only 3 things. And think about this when you go into either a shop or you sit down, you have a sales conversation with someone that you're thinking of buying from. The question that you're always asking is, why should I do this? Why should I? Why should I do this? Why should I buy this product? Why should I book onto this workshop? Why should I book this massage? Why should I do this with you? So why are you so amazing? Why are you the right person? Why do you understand where I'm coming from more than anyone else? And why should I do this now? We've looked at urgency in the past and how people actually, they won't make a decision unless they're forced into it. So, we're not going to hold a gun to their head, but we will include a sense of honest urgency. And we'll need to cover these in our sales conversations, which we'll look at in the next training. And the next training is about breaking down the sales conversations into different sections to make it considerably easier for you. So, a little bit of a summary for us. If you're not selling, you don't have a business. And just embrace selling. Selling is helping and ensuring that your clients understand, why should I do this? Why should I do this now? And why should I do this with you? And it really, really is that simple. And if you always go into every sales conversation, even if it's a customer that walks into your shop, if it's someone that you meet at a networking event, if it's someone that comments on your Facebook, if it's someone that sends you an email, just always think, how can I help them? It might be that you cannot help them, and that's absolutely no bother at all. But if you go into this thinking, how can I help them? You're in a much better position. So what do you need to do now? I want you to list all of the ways in which you help customers. Now, you're probably thinking, we've been through this before. Yeah, we have. These are your transformations. There's nothing new here. I want you to know your transformations. I want you to eat, live and breathe the way that you change someone's life. That's what I want you to do, because that is what is absolutely freaking essential. And then I want you to ensure you have a sales funnel where you're getting in front of more people than you could ever possibly work with. That is the key to success. Always, always, always be building relationships with more people than you could ever work with. It is that simple, because then you get the pick. And it might be that you don't want to turn people away. That's fine. You can increase your prices. You can build relationships with people also working in the same industry. But essentially, you have to be aiming to help more people than you could ever help. Because the reason being is we want to take that pressure off you, and we want to make it absolutely easier for you to take on new clients. Okay, I'll see you in just a moment in our training video too. But until then, see ya.